Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special video. Especially if you've been interested in Star Wars or have been following the progress of our Star Wars tabletop RPG series. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically D&D set in the Star Wars universe. We're using the Fantasy Flight RPG books. So we started on Edge of the Empire and we picked up the other two core rule books and we're implementing those into our game. But we're going to be launching this series later this fall. In fact, we're getting pretty close to this. And this video is all about a new reward we're adding to our Patreon. If you don't know, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/OSWguild. And the whole purpose was to kind of help fund this series because there was a lot of expensive equipment we needed to get in order to get it rolling. In fact, we've gotten about half of that equipment. We're pretty good to go. And as far as the cameras are concerned, we've found a cheaper solution that we can use for the time being until we can kind of work up to getting what we actually kind of want as far as the series is concerned. That being said, this video is all about a very special reward that goes along with that. So if you have in the past given money on Patreon to us, or if you're planning to this month, then you will get this reward, which is you're going to be invited to a private session of our game before the series ever launches. And what this is going to do is it's going to act as one kind of a proof of concept. You'll be able to see the game played. You'll be able to see us play it. You'll be able to get an idea for what the series will be like. You'll be able to see how the players play the game, which is also important because, maybe you just don't like any of the players. That's a complete possibility. So this will kind of offer a kind of a beta version of our series so you can kind of test it out before it happens. And you can be a part of the story as it unfolds, which is really important if you've been watching the storytime videos, because you're already caught up on the story, so why not just be thrown into it actually happening live and being in the heads of the players as they're doing that, and instead of like discussing their decisions that they're making and everything like that. So how this will work is we'll invite you, and this is kind of the technical part of this, but we'll invite you to the Roll20 game. So that means you'll need a free account on Roll20. It's pretty easy to just go to roll20.com and just set up an account. So we'll invite you to that so you can actually see the rolls happening. You can see the board. So if we ever have a battle map, and you can kind of get a glance around how everything is running, and I'll have a character sheet set up that you guys can kind of see like the basics of how the system works, so you can kind of follow along. But we won't give you access to the player character sheets because you can actually edit. So we'll kind of see how things work with that. Maybe I could come up with a solution, but actually, I could probably just copy the character sheets over, and then you can kind of get an idea that way. Aha! I found a solution already. Then you'll also be invited to our Discord server, so you can hear us and hear the players, which will be pretty cool. And then in the Discord, you'll have an exclusive chat channel that you guys, while watching everything kind of unfold, you can discuss it and you can talk with each other. And then afterwards, after the game is done, there'll be a Q&A where you guys can ask the players about things that they did, or ask me about, certain things that were done during the game, like how did you make that map or stuff like that. So that's also a possibility. And this may extend past a one-time thing. So I'm considering allowing access to all of the games until the series launches with this, depending on how it goes. Like I said, this is kind of like a beta test, and it's actually really good for us because it allows me to get an idea of any technical hurdles that we haven't thought about yet, and start kind of testing the waters and getting your guys' feedback and making adjustments, like making actual adjustments on that feedback as it happens. So that way, when the time comes that our series starts, we're good to go. We've already made all the adjustments, and we're not having to mess with things mid game or after the first game or stuff like that. So I think it's a really kind of a cool, unique idea, because those of you who are interested in the story, you can jump right in and start participating in it. And then it also makes sure that the series, when it launches, is going to be the best that it can be. And this is really like as raw as it gets with this game. Like you'll be there as it's happening, as we're just normally playing it like we normally do. We're not going to, change anything for you guys. You guys will be able to see it how we've been playing it. And I think the most important part is that it's kind of a early access into this series to begin with. And I want to make it clear once again that anyone who has given on Patreon and anyone who wants to, you could just go and give. And then I have a whole list of people who have, and due to various scenarios, are no longer or planning to get back on and stuff like that. So like I have a log. So I'll just send everybody a private invite through the email provided through Patreon. So if you want to get in on this, you'll need to go to Patreon and just give. We have no limit as to how many people can do this at the moment. We'll see if that ends up becoming an issue, if suddenly like hundreds of people are there. But for the most part, there is even a new reward tier on Patreon just to make sure that pretty much anybody who wants to can get in on this. There is no like huge barrier. I think the minimum you can give on Patreon is $1. So there you go. We made that the minimum to get in on this. There is no like, you don't have to pay $50 to get into the series. I don't want to gyp you guys. If you're interested in this series, this is your chance to be a part of it and really help grow it and help shape what the actual series will be like. And I think the most exciting thing to me is you guys being able to interact while the game is live, because I want to see that interaction. It's something that will allow me to adjust the game in weird ways that you guys will never even know about, which is really important for me. And also having that chat log just kind of data-based for me to take a look at as well. So with that being said, if you want to be a part of this, it will be happening hopefully within the next week or two, like the first session. And then after that, if we decide to keep doing it, you'll be invited to every one. The games happen, just as a time frame, happen on Sunday at 5 p.m. PDT, which is 8 p.m. EDT. So that's 5 on the Pacific side of the U.S. That's 8 on the Eastern side of the U.S. And I know for those in Europe, that's kind of painful. When our game actually, like when the series actually launches, we're going to pick a way better time that Europe will actually be able to kind of watch live. And it's hard to do. There's places in the world that it's just nighttime. It's 4 a.m. when no matter where we're going to be playing in the game, there's going to be a time zone that is 4 a.m. So it's hard to get around that, but we'll try our best to get the most people being able to watch the game as possible. And if it turns out that most people who want to be a part of this are having the issue of it's just too late for them, then in that case we may shift our game time just so I'm not saying like every game, but one of the games will shift so that way you can participate in it. We'll try to do like an early day thing if there's enough people to warrant that. So yeah, head over to patreon.com/OSWguild. You can do all that. Ask any questions in the comments below. This is kind of like we're treading new ground here. It was an idea I had last week with the players. I asked them. They were like, yeah, that's cool. I asked Twitter. I got a couple of responses like, that's a really cool idea. So let's go with it. Let's see how this rocks. And if you guys are really interested in the game at that point, because like I said, it is a proof of concept, then you'll get an idea of what we're going for. And, it may help show you what my vision has been this entire time for the series. With that being said, though, we shall see you guys next time.